Jeff, I'll ask you first. John, you weigh in after. Jeff, what does success look like for Jalen Carter this year as an Eagles defensive tackle? What does he have to do to get back to, we're paying this guy $35 million and I'm not going to think twice about it, right? What does he have to do to kind of get back to that type of output for this defense?
I think if you look at Jordan Davis's numbers last year, and I know Jordan Davis is a completely different player, but he started amongst defensive tackles in tackles. He was second in pressures. The sack number, but the pressures were there. If Jalen Carter could do that and have the sack totals be at around like 6 or 7, it's a really good year.
Yeah, I think he's got to be healthy and he can lift weights, and that'll be fine. I mean, he's so gifted. He's so gifted. If he's right, he's just impossible to block at times. And he's helping others. Whether all of a sudden you're game planning for Jalen Carter again, that opens up things for Jordan Davis or Moro Ojomo and the edge rushers. So, I mean, one of the things I think Eagles fans should be most excited about is the impact that Greenard's going to have on Carter and vice versa. Carter's going to have for Greenard, and those two playing off each other. But he's got to be healthy. And he's another
we never
guy.
got to see that with Jalen Phillips last year, how those two would benefit. Because like you said, Jalen Carter couldn't lift the weight toward the end of the season.
Yeah, could not. And with that Chicago game, and they play Chicago, week 3, Monday night. That's when it really showed up. And if you watch that game on film, it was time and time again. It was Darnell Wright just washing out the entire Eagles defensive front.
That's my top revenge game this year. I had to write the revenge games, and that was it because they just got manhandled. I've never seen Eagles get manhandled.
In Philly, too. That was domination.
That is a good player, by the way. Yeah. And I have to give my mea culpas to Ryan Poles. Is it Ryan Poles or Ryan Pace? I get them mixed up.
Ryan Poles. Ryan Poles.
They had Ryan Pace, and then they went to Ryan Poles. And I really, early on when they stripped that thing down, it was ugly. But they drafted, when they passed on Jalen Carter twice, as essentially, they drafted Darnell Wright with the 10th overall pick. And it wasn't great early, but man, he has turned into a hell of a player.
The Bears were always that team. Even when Eberflus was their head coach, I'm like, they should not be this bad. And they were. And it turned out it was the coach. It was the staff. And I mean, fixing Caleb Williams helped, but
you gotta get a playmaker. But they also rebuilt that offensive line. It's no secret. They went out and got Dahlman, they went out and got Thuney, and they went out and got Darnell Wright, and all of a sudden, bang, they're a good team.
And of course,
everybody looks at Caleb Williams, and everybody looks at Roma Dunze. It's the same everywhere, and everybody looks at, look at that DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai. Look at that running. It's the freaking offensive line.
It's the offensive line, and they fixed it like overnight. And it's a shame Dahlman retired on him.
I know, because he was a freaking beast last year.
27 years old, and it was like, okay, guys, check. He's good.
Well, guys, that's going to start happening a lot more. The amount of money that these guys are making, God bless them. But there are going to be dudes who just say, all right, $25, $30 million, I'm out. I'm not going to put my body on. I got wife, I got kids, I got a future, I got family. I'm good. I'm not going to.
That's why I keep saying, watch out for Landon. Watch out for him.
Yeah, it's true.
That's why you got to find guys who love ball, as they say. But yeah, that offensive line, I think, was the reason they turned everything around. And don't get me wrong. I mean, obviously the quarterback's the most important player on the field, but I don't know how many times I say on this show, but Zander's probably sick of it, but you can't play offense if you can't block anybody. I don't care who you have. You could have the best skill position player at every goddamn position. If you can't block anybody, you can't play offense.
That's why the Eagles struggled a lot offensively last year. Their offensive line just wasn't as good as it was in years past, and there's a lot to go around and blame for that.
And that is so their offensive line, because the big ones are Wright, Thuney, and Dahlman. They lose Dahlman. They get Garrett Bradbury's not as good, so that should hurt. But they also brought in Jonah Jackson, and they had Ozzie Trapillo, who turned into a pretty good player.
Jonah Jackson's he's been an underrated player for a lot of years.
Yeah, they're good. They're good up front, and the best one is Darnell Wright. Even though Thuney's been around and made 87 Pro Bowls, but Darnell Wright is a dominant player.
87 Pro Bowls and like 187 All Pros. I feel like Joe Thuney's been like in a conference championship game almost every year of his existence until last year.
Yeah, and he got killed in the Super Bowl, but he was playing left tackle, which
I can tell you just from talking to guys on the Chiefs, they knew that was a mismatch. They said, "Look, we don't have a left tackle. He has to be the left tackle. And we don't want that."
It's pretty impressive that he could even do it and make the Super Bowl, as a guard moving out to left tackle, and not, get exposed until the Super Bowl. But I digress. So, that week 3 matchup, we're going to see, because the Eagles should be motivated, as Jeff points out, because they got beaten up. How many times you say that about this group of Philadelphia? They got legit
not
beaten
often.
Up.
When's the last time we could honestly say they've gotten beat up? Maybe 2023?
Yeah, I have to think that when the last time they got out physical, like
the Cowboys beat them up in Dallas in 2023.
It's always the offensive line. The Cowboys had a good offensive line. That's what the Eagles did to people. They bullied people in 2024. It's always the offensive line. It's so boring to people. It
really is, but that's really what football is. You get a great offensive line, you can win games.
It's never going to change.
It is going to change, but until we get the flag football, it's not going to change.
Yeah, okay, real football, it's never going to change. But people don't care about that.
Hey, John's right there. With the legislation the way it's going, pretty soon there's going to be skill position players.
Well, they're trying to grow flag football in the worst way.
Oh, they are. Oh, it's bad. It's bad. I think we're going down that route. I really do.
I'm not watching that, so
I'm not watching that.
I put this out on Friday, and people laughed. I said, "When is the NFL? They're killing the golden goose, but when's it really going to die? It might happen sooner than people think."
Now, I'm already at a point where sometimes I watch games and I'm like, "Well, that was a waste of my time." So if they go to flag football, I'm going to be saying that about 98% of the time.
Do you guys like a football game on every day?